Good evening, Australia. Oh, got some congestion going on. Great start. Good evening, Australia. We'll try that again. Welcome to Psychic TV International. This is an evening with Psychic TV. I am your host, Michael Dimarco, tonight, and I have the beautiful and very colourful Janée waiting backstage to come on to have a bit of a chat with us. Hi, Andres. Good to see you there. So if you are there, do say hello. Try and share this page if you possibly can. We'd like to reach as many people as we possibly can. As you know by now, and the way these shows go, they can be quite informative and quite helpful to a lot of people. It's good just to have a bit of a chat and get to know our psychics a little bit better. So, you never know who might just need to hear something tonight. Our shows can be quite random. There's no script, so they can really, anything's kind of possible. But we're here to have a bit of fun and have a bit of a chat as well. I'm excited to get to know Janée a little bit more deeper. I don't know anything about her, so I'm going to be learning about her just as much as you are tonight. So that is definitely going to be exciting. I'm just going to make sure that we are definitely streaming because I'm not sort of seeing the numbers jumping on. But do say hello. Do share this page if you possibly can. Yes, it looks like we are streaming. That's good. We are on the page. That's a good start, at least, anyway. Of course, we're not doing any psychic readings tonight. If you've got any sort of spiritual related type questions. Hi, Beth. I saw you just share the page. That was really good. I'm doing really well. It's good to see you joining us tonight. No psychic readings tonight, as you may be aware by now, but we do kind of encourage any sort of educational, spiritual type questions that you might have. So depending on how the conversation goes tonight, you might want to ask follow-up questions, or if you've got anything you want to ask Janée as well, you can definitely do that. Hi, Kelly. Good to see you there in the thread as well. Looks like we've got a few jumping on now. So welcome. Do say hello. Do share this page. Like I said, I want to reach as many people as we possibly can tonight. Of course, you can go to Psychic TV Australia or psychictvinternational.com for a psychic reading. And the psychics we currently have available, if my page wants to load, we'll play some elevated music while it's doing that. Nope, doesn't want to load. We'll come back. I'll let you know who the psychics are in a minute once my page decides to load. Sad about Harry's loss. What happened with Harry? Oh, I'm not familiar with Harry's loss. Has he posted something on his page? I've not been online much today, so I've been out of the social news loop. What's happened with Harry? I hope he's okay. Oh, his dog passed. Oh, that's horrible. His dog passed away. That's so sad. Oh, I didn't see that post. Love and light, obviously, to Harry for that. For that to just happen. 16 productions are telling me, okay, well, at least someone knows what's going on. His dog was 16 years old and passed away today. That's so sad. I've got my little puppy here, so he might make an appearance at some point. He's looking at me like, why are you not paying me any attention? Why are you looking at a screen and talking to yourself? So he's a little confused at the moment. Nope, the Psychic TV website is not working. Yes, it is. So currently available on Psychic TV International or Australia.com is Blessed Beth, who's in the thread. So you can say hello as well. On pin 9150, Judith Sky on pin 9125, Natalie Norm Baker on pin 9810, and Psychic Sadie available on 9147 if you'd like a. Of course, Beth's always on. I'm on. Beth is on. But call her after the show. The fun's here tonight. Let's bring on a guest of honor and have a bit of a chat. Please welcome Janée. Hello.
Hi, Michael. Hi, everyone watching.
I know you're a little bit nervous tonight, so we'll be easy on you.
Just a little bit nervous, absolutely.
It's okay. And most of my guests for the first time are a bit like, oh, this is a bit different to Saturday, so it's a bit unfamiliar.
It is. It's the unfamiliarity, absolutely.
Let's start very simply. Why don't you just tell everyone the type of psychic you are and how you work?
So I'm a psychic medium, and I work with a few different clairs. So sometimes I can hear things. I really enjoy connecting to past loved ones as well, and complete mind blank there. What do
No,
I do?
it's fine. But how do I work?
How do you put it into words?
Who am I?
That's exactly what's happening at the moment.
When do you remember when did it all start for you?
Um, for me, it started about 6 years ago. My
Okay.
youngest child, he has additional needs, so he was at school part time, and I was working from home part time. I was actually doing cake decorating, and that took its toll on my wrist, all the rolling of the fondant. So I said to the universe, give me something else that I can do from home that fits the hours that I need. And a psychic that I use, she posted, she had a online mediumship development course, and I'm like, oh, this sounds like fun. So signed up for it, and it was like a light switch. It just all started flooding in. And yeah, so that's how it started. Before that,
That's so
though,
I was going to say that's really interesting that you say 6 years ago. I'm so fascinated by that. So what I'm guessing you're going to say might go into detail, but my other question was, as a child growing up, did you ever sense or feel things like now that you know?
Yeah, now that I know and looking back, there's only one significant memory. And I actually said to my mum, why don't I have many memories? And she's like, because you were a hyperactive child, so your brain was constantly going all the time. But there was one time where I remember it was daylight savings, and going to bed early and the sun's out, and you're like, what's going on here? And I could hear a child's voice, and it was like counting to me, like we're playing hide and seek, and I was getting so angry because I'm going to get in trouble for being out of bed. So yeah, that's one.
How old do you reckon you would have been?
I would have been about 6 or 7 at the time. So,
And did it sort of like I loved how you're like, oh, you're more worried about I'm going to get into trouble because we're playing a game. So it obviously didn't really scare you.
No, it just sounded like another child. Yeah, it was looking back, I'm like, I don't understand what was going on, but I was,
Did you ever find them?
No, I didn't.
They're still hiding.
They're still hiding. And it's interesting, going back to, because it was my family's home, and I did share on the live recently, my dad passed away, so often I would have sleepovers in my old kid's bedroom from then, and actually caught like an orb on photo when I'd moved my bed in and stuff like that. So they're still there hiding.
They're still there hiding. And so was there any sort of other experiences that happened, or was it kind of, I mean, looking back now, did you sort of go, oh yeah, now that explains that explains that, or was it not as often as it happened?
Later on, once I was more in adult years, one of my very first rental properties, I guess, from the government, the previous tenant was actually unfortunately murdered in the property. So I knew that going into the property, but I was able to sense him. He would stand at the end of my bed. I could describe what he used to wear, things like that. And we would have these ginormous parties back in the day.
As we do.
And somebody's mother came one night, and she was like questioning me, because it was no secret that our house had history. The fact that they left the body outline, the chalk line on the property, and we had the jury come through.
In the physical, like not spiritually, like physically.
Physically paint. Yes. So it's a really bizarre story. I'm trying to condense it in. But yeah, so someone's mum came once, and she was just questioning me, and I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm really not into this conversation. And it turned out she was a partner of the person accused of doing it, and she just wanted to know, did the ghost of the person living there, is he saying that's who killed him? So I just thought it was the house thing, no? Like, I'm like, naturally with that so much trauma and, unfortunate what happened to him, I just thought, no wonder there's a ghost in this house.
Yeah, of course.
And then looking back, there was, a few times I'd be in properties, and I'm like, oh, it's just a property. We live in an old town with so much history. but I didn't realize it was a me thing, and they were coming for me. They were coming for my light. They were coming for me to help them
Oh,
and guide them. So
right.
yes. So looking back now, I'm like, oh wow, yeah, so much makes sense now.
How long?
But
How
before
long?
that,
Yeah, of course. God. So how long did you live in that property, and did this continue on kind of thing? Like, were you constantly bugged about this?
we lived there for about 18 months, I think it was. In the end, it just become too much
Yeah, it
stress
would.
with
I can imagine.
having to get out because the jury is coming through to see the crime scene and things like that. It just took its toll. I was a young mum, so I just can't do this
Yeah,
anymore.
that energy would be horrible. I'm so sorry you had to go through that, but I'm guessing you've learned a lot in a way from that too.
Definitely. And, I took the time and kind of, tried to help, move him on, because I was getting the sense there was a bit of an intellectual um, disability with him. So he wasn't quite understanding what had happened to him. So just spending time with him and kind of guiding him towards the light and,
Was
the
this
other
before
side.
that you kind of decided to be a medium as such? Like, was this
Oh,
kind of
absolutely.
natural?
Like
So how did you kind of
25 years before.
shit, wow.
Yeah.
So but you kind of naturally, I suppose, knew what you had to do in a
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
And where do you think that came from? Obviously, you're a natural medium, but did you ever kind of in that moment, you still didn't go, you know what, this isn't, I mean, define normal, I mean, inverted commas, but it's like not everybody can do what, like I can't do what you do. But still in that moment, you didn't kind of go, hang on, maybe I've got something. Like, when did it click
No,
for you?
it
Wow.
didn't click at all
I
until
find that, so you just thought that was just normal, like everyone can
I
do
just thought
this,
that was
or?
normal. Yeah, anyone can do
I love
this.
it.
It was just like, might have been a few TV shows along the way that kind of, you get advice on what to do in that situation. But yeah, I just thought, yeah, anyone can do this. I'm not special. It's just the houses and all the property, and then it
And
wasn't, yeah.
turns out you are.
Yeah, it wasn't, yeah, until 6 years ago I signed up for the course, and I was practicing actually before it started, and it was just, coming through so strongly since then, and hasn't stopped. So it's been amazing.
I love that. I love that. I'm going to dig a little bit deeper into that. But just for everyone who is watching, please note that we're not doing any psychic readings tonight. I've seen a couple of questions come up, people asking for readings. So please note we don't do that tonight. That is for Harry T on a Saturday night. But if there's any sort of generic spiritual, educational, if there's anything about Janée that you really would like to know a little bit more, or I mean, 6 years ago, like I love the fact that it's taken you. Why do you think it's kind of taken you not this long? Because we all come to it in our own time, and everyone's different, and we all come to our journey in our own time and space. I know you said that you saw the post, and you went and did the class. Why do you think at that point you kind of felt, yeah, now's the time?
I think I was finally in a place to do things for me. So,
Uh,
I was a young mum, and I'd spent a lot of time with my children. And then, as I said, my youngest son was just starting school, and he was on part time. So I was just getting that little bit of me time back. And then also my grandmother passed not long before, sorry, as well. So, one of my first big losses, I guess you'd say. So
yeah.
it's kind of, yeah, preparing me um, for that.
So with your grandmother passing, do you think that was the push to sort of develop this gift and understand it a bit better?
Not specifically. I just think in that space, like I didn't do it with the intention of connecting with her, or I was just like, oh,
Okay.
this sounds cool. I'd love to just explore it and see what happens. I've always had a bit of an interest in, paranormal and the ghosts, and just shows like Charmed and
Charm's
Medium
my
and stuff like
favorite.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So yeah, I'm just like, oh, I'll just sign up and see what happens. And um, yeah, I couldn't believe how much it just was like. Um,
Just started to flow, I suppose.
yeah, yep.
Because I mean, if you're already getting quite strong, I mean, just from what you explained in regards to the house, in regards to younger age with the child and everything, it's quite clear that that gift was quite active and clear for you.
It
So I can only imagine that once you probably tapped into that power, that you would have just it was like it's like an unblocked tap in a way, like the water just started running and
it did.
everything just started flowing.
I was actually within 3 months. I was working professionally
Oh
at
wow.
a local spiritual store here, and yeah, I learned so much there. Very grateful for my time there, but yeah, it was just unlocking something and couldn't turn it off again.
Did you find that once you kind of made that call, so to speak, and did the was it a class that you did or a workshop?
Yeah, so it was an online 6-week course.
Okay, so
So
after you did that course and you sort of understood yourself, I suppose, a little bit better, what changed for you there? Like, did it become easier? Like, what? How did your mind frame go?
it was it was just so easy. Like it just comes so naturally. I didn't have to think about it. It was just there.
Yeah,
Um,
and did you find that you almost like in a way understood yourself a bit better,
yes,
if that
definitely.
makes sense? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like yeah, this makes so much more sense. It's that connection or the messages or um, just that deep intuitive knowing that yeah, you probably had this all along and didn't realize. And I always say that
Which
I'm like, I
is
didn't know it was a me thing. I just thought it was all the houses, all the people, or
well, I mean, look, that does help. I mean, really, when you're, I suppose, in a quite an active environment, you're going to pick up on things, aren't you? Like, you know. But I always, and you probably have learned this and probably understand this yourself in a sense that, we get put in places for a reason. So even though you kind of had to go through that sort of heaviness, so to speak, it really, I suppose, was almost like a training ground for you in some way.
yes, that's exactly how I look at it now. Like if that hadn't have happened, I wouldn't have been open to, whatever else to come. So every every step, whether it feels positive or negative, has been a step towards what I've meant to be doing. So
And how, like, now that you sort of are doing this professionally and you know what you're doing and you like what it is basically.
yeah,
um
what it is,
what
not
sort
so
of
much what I'm doing all the time.
yeah, I suppose, yeah, exactly. But how is it different now, like looking back and looking at it now, how's it different for you now that you sort of, I suppose, have that control in a way?
It is control. One of the first things I did when I knew, this is what I can do, is I put the rule up. I do not want to see spirit. It will just scare the crap out of me. So I put that boundary up in place, and now I kind of regret it because I'm like, oh, it would be so much easier if I could just see what you look like or see who's talking to me or things like that. Um, so
So
that's probably
do you
one.
see them in the physical or is it more third eye?
More third eye. So prior, um, it was more of a physical. So as I said, I would see the gentleman who would stand at the end of my bed, and I could see him like he was there. Whereas now it's more third eye because I put that boundary up as nope, no
uh,
spirits in the house because it'll scare me. So
And how do you think? You mentioned you've got kids, so do you think they've got the gift?
definitely, they all have it in their own different way. They're all a little bit fearful of it, scared of the unknown.
Yeah.
Um, and especially my youngest, he would often see dark figures, and he would say, there's a dark figure in my wardrobe. It's really scaring me. And I said to him, I have just asked them who they are, and tried to explain to him it takes a lot of energy for you know um, spirit, your loved ones, to manifest in a physical form. So yeah, I'm like, just have the conversation. Who is it? And it was a few days later he came out and he said to me, Mum, I asked them who they were, and they said um, their name was John. And I said, that's my grandfather, but you only ever knew
Oh.
him as Jack. So so it was interesting that he pulled out a few other details that he wouldn't have known. Was actually
Wow.
so he's a special little soul there, and my daughter has a gift as well, but she's just not interested. It's not her time, and that's fine. I don't push it on them. If they ask me
No,
questions,
of
I'll share
course.
with them. But that's going to be their journey on when or if they're ever ready to do that.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. I love that. And then, like, how old are they?
My son is 16. My daughter's nearly 24, and I do have
Oh,
another child.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking they're like 12 or like
No, they're all grown
babies.
up
They're
now.
actually
No.
adults. Oh, okay. So he really is. Yeah. So he's quite like he knows what he's saying. Then he's aware of. It's not like
Yeah,
a 5 or
it
6 year
happened a
old
few years
saying,
ago. So he was
yeah,
probably about 11 or 12 at the time. He's kind of at that age, but you're not too young.
I love it. I love it. And do you know if it runs in the family for you? Like, do you have it in your family? Like the gift?
Yeah, so I've actually been doing some ancestry after my dad died. It's conversations we used to have. He's like, yeah, I could do, I would know things before they happened. And my mum
Okay.
shares similar things. But through ancestry, my second great grandmother actually was drawn to this book, and it was weirdly my family history, and it had my name in it. It was like, oh, no wonder. So it's my second great grandmother, and it says in there she would have premonitions of people's passings. So it was written in the book that she had her own gift as well. I have ancestors. They used to make shrouds for the deceased, so that's the cloth that they would wear back in um, uh, Ireland.
Okay.
Maybe about 1600, I think. And then also have some family that were in Beechworth
Oh,
in the
yes. Yeah, yeah.
asylum as well. So
Wow.
reading up about her, it's like she had a gift, but it wasn't as acceptable back then. So
No,
it makes
exactly.
sense why she was put in there. So
And how did that sort of, when you were sort of discovering all of this, how did it sort of make you feel? Like learning this history, you've got the gift. Did it kind of, was there like some comfort there?
yes, lots of comfort that not alone in the family. I guess sometimes you feel like a bit of a black sheep in what
Yeah.
you can do. But I feel for me one of the biggest struggles I had is the timing. Like working professionally so soon after discovering, before that I didn't know about chakras. I didn't know anything about anything, and then all of a sudden I just could do this. And the biggest struggle for me was the timing, because it's like I've only been doing this for such a short time, and second guessing myself or doubting myself, and then learning about my ancestors. It's like, hang on a minute, this has been in my family, it's been in my blood, past lives. It's not new to me, it's just new to me now, if that makes sense.
Yeah, interesting. So you were kind of, so go back to when you say about the time where you were what, a bit frustrated or a bit annoyed that when you were saying about the time, what did you mean by that?
When I first started, I was really critical or harsh on myself, and I'm like, I've only been
Uh,
doing this for a short amount of time, or I guess it's not so much comparison to other people, but just not having the confidence, I guess, and saying, oh, this is all new to me, instead of actually just owning what's connecting and what's coming out in that manner.
and I think that's such a really great lesson for everyone who's watching to learn is that, first of all, we do need to stop comparing to others because we're all different and we've all got our own gift. But also understanding your value and worth.
Yes.
I think we all forget that.
Absolutely.
And I think with you, it's like that's probably one of the biggest lessons you may have learned is that I can do this. I am doing this. And in a way, I've already been doing it. I just didn't know what it was. So
Absolutely.
now I do.
Yeah, so it's not just the houses. It's they're coming for me.
And do you find now, like, obviously, I mean, time frame, whether it's 6 years, 16 years, whatever, time frame doesn't really matter. Like, the gift, it's natural, you can do it. Um, Now that obviously your confidence has sort of grown a little bit more, do you kind of find that it's just a bit easier now for you and you kind of maybe enjoy it a bit more?
I've always enjoyed it, but I'm noticing the difference in how I deliver the messages and how much
Um,
validation I'm waiting for. So when I first started, I would often do readings and I'd be online and I'd be like, I'd say one thing and wait for the yes validation or the no validation and then say the next thing. And now the information flows so much more freely and I'm not waiting and I don't need to hear the validation because I know the information is the accurate, if that makes sense, or accurate from what they're sharing with me.
yeah. Okay. And because I'm just thinking, I don't know why call me psychic or whatever, but I feel like, say there's someone watching right now or maybe watching later who, like yourself, has kind of just come into the gift or maybe they're coming into that gift now. What advice could you maybe give them from what your experience is to help them on their journey?
I think anyone that's got, curiosity or interest in how this works would have a little bit of their own intuition and gifts deep down. It's just a fear sometimes that can hold them back, but also feeling like, I can't do this or I'm not so much I'm not special enough to do this, but just not, I guess it comes back to that confidence, so in just not believing that they could do this. That would be the big thing. So trusting yourself if you're getting signs, messages, guidance every day that you can, and all you have to do is kind of just spend time with it. There's teachers out there that can help you, courses. I just love learning. I'll never stop learning about this, and there's so many different approaches. What works for one person might not work for another, which is why
Exactly.
we shouldn't be comparing ourselves to anyone. We are ourselves, and if we are chosen to do this, it's for a reason. I think just believing in that deep down is belief is the biggest thing to take from it.
And I think, yeah, and that's so important and it's so relevant too. Like, I think a lot of us do sort of, and look, I've been there, I've been doing this for too long, and no, not that long, but it just feels like forever. um, and but when I first started, I was comparing myself to other people, and I was sort of comparing my gift, and that person gets it like this. Why am I not getting it like this? And you kind of, if you get into your headspace too much, it really kind of messes you up.
It does, yes.
And I think what you said is so important. Like, don't compare and just like whatever it is you're trying to do, I suppose keep learning, keep practicing until it makes sense for you.
And I believe
Like,
whatever, information or guidance that comes to you to deliver to that person is exactly what they need to hear in that moment. And if they do see someone else, they get what that person has to offer. And that's why there's so many of us and we're all different, because we all have something different to offer.
um, Michelle, okay, so Michelle, I'm going to give you, we've got a little bit of a question here, which I'm interested to get your opinion on. So, the backstory that she's given us is, since I was a little girl, I've had times where I've seen or heard, but always felt when spirits were around. Now that I think of it, I've been paying much more attention. Since my husband passed away 2.5 years ago, I've been seeing spirits much more and often so much more clearly now, which is usually, I mean, you're kind of similar, like, usually sometimes it does. It's weird how some, not weird, but it's just interesting, I suppose, how sometimes we need a loved one to pass to give us that push in a weird way. Like, um,
Absolutely.
yeah. And then she's basically asked, do you feel that you, this is a question to you, do you feel that you have paid attention more when oh, well, actually, I just kind of said that. Do you feel that you have paid more attention when a loved one has passed? I'm very interested in developing what I've been experiencing. You kind of sort of answered that, but yeah, like a loved one passing, and then you all of a sudden start paying more attention, don't you?
You do, absolutely. You know, just with my own experience with my dad recently, it's almost like you're not looking, but you're more aware of, is that a sign that could, you see something, you're like, oh, that's a sign, and you just feel it. I think that's, you're not so much looking, but you just see things and then you feel that connection. So you know that it is a message for you. So you're more open to it because you know that I guess there's someone that you know personally to deliver that message rather than ancestors or guides, etc. It feels more of a stronger connection. So yeah, sorry for your loss, and it does make
yeah,
sense.
exactly. How do you I suppose know the difference? Like you're talking about that stronger connection. Like how do we separate, or how do you sort of separate and know the difference?
First thought, first feeling, if you feel like it's a message, then I trust it is a message. And trust is the biggest thing that nobody can ever
Is
teach you.
no. Thank you. Thank you. And I swear, I think every week on this show, we at least mention trust at some point. It just keeps
Yeah,
coming up because it's so true.
it is. And then the second thought, is that human mind trying to analyze, oh, that could be a coincidence, or, we try and put reasoning to what we've just seen or experienced. And, it's just natural. We want to, um, I guess it's that scientific evidence that we're looking for as to
Yeah.
why it happened. So,
Yes. And sometimes
it,
maybe that reasoning that you're talking about, there is none. Maybe sometimes we can put all this logic and all this scientific kind of energy into what we're trying to make sense, and it still doesn't make sense. So it's like, when do we kind of go, okay, I've got to accept it for what it is, even though I don't know what that is?
yes, that's exactly right.
In a sort of, yeah. Um, yeah, and I mean, look, I'm a typical Virgo, so I live on logic, like my brain, it's my DNA. So
Yes.
I still catch myself from time to time going, "Oh, but that doesn't make sense logically, and I need to work that out." But I catch myself now, like I'm a bit more trained and a bit more educated, to go, no, no, no. If it doesn't make sense, maybe it's not meant to. And that's a lot of people struggle with that.
Yes, that's something also struggled with. Aquarius are very similar with the
Are
mind
you an
and the
Aquarian?
yeah, that
So
analytical
you're
brain
very
that
much in your head.
absolutely. So it's twice as hard sometimes, but you're right. You just got to trust that what you're seeing or what you're feeling or even what you're giving out is it doesn't make sense to you, but maybe you're just a messenger and you don't need to understand it.
And maybe you're not meant to.
No,
You're like, no,
no.
Aquarian, down the line, direct, black and white. No, 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 no examples. Just no,
Nope.
nope. That's all I'm giving you for now. Tell me, how have you learned to sort of really ground and protect yourself with the work that you do? Like, what's some things you can maybe share with us that you do to help with that grounding and protection?
I'm a big believer in intention. It's a marvelous thing that as long as you've got the right intention, you don't have to do a lot of effort. Also
I
one of
like that.
those, yeah. So and as I said, like as a child, I was just hyperactive. So when people ask me to, sit and meditate for long periods of time, cannot do it. So um, I just have this big belief that, you put the intention out in what you want to do and it happens for you. So, I might set the intention for 1 minute. I'm just going to imagine connecting and grounding. So um, I'll do that. And I just like quick, easy solutions to things. Um, Protection again is just that intention, and I'll often, you know, a lot of our clients and especially the viewers, I find that they'll be empaths, so they are prone to absorbing other people's energies
Mm.
and moods. So, um, you know, everyone would have heard about the bubble protection energy where you just imagine yourself in a bubble. But one of the biggest things I learned is you need a big bubble, not just a little bubble around yourself. Like if you're going out into the world, like
Oh my
grow your
god.
bubble. You need a bubble
Yeah.
as big as the suburb because each person you walk past like just zaps the energy out of your bubble.
Don't they really? It's really funny. So I'll make it about me for a second. No, I'm joking, but I'm based in Melbourne, so I went to the Royal Melbourne show last week. Yeah, the 4th of October, last Saturday. When you were on with Harry, that's why I wasn't able to watch. So I was at the Royal Melbourne show, and it's just funny, just what you were talking about. So I normally do the bubble thing, and because I don't drive, so I'm always on public transport and things like that. So my day, it's like an automatic. I don't necessarily have to envision it as such all the time because I know it's there and I know it's always up because it has to be. But I must have been really vulnerable or just not paying attention. And I was on the Ferris wheel, and for the first time in a long time, I had the biggest panic attack, sweats, shakes, dry mouth. Like I completely freaked out. And I realized, because it was the first time in that entire day of being at the show full of like thousands and thousands of people, that I was actually finally alone in a room where I was seated, quiet, up in the air, that I was away from that all the energy just came to the surface. And it was trying to escape out of me. And I was trying to go, what the hell is this? And I realized I had just collected all of this energy throughout the day. And yeah, it was like one of those real life sort of live experiences where you kind of go, wow, that is real. Like you really do absorb energy without even realizing it.
Yeah, I mean, you can walk into a room, if somebody's had an argument, you can feel the tension in the room, and you can just feel that
Yes.
energy. And, so when you do walk past people in the street, supermarket, you're going to pick up. I kind of say to people, they're like a little energetic vacuum cleaner, that every person they walk past, they kind of just suck up, whatever energy they've got going on at the moment. And a lot of it isn't always happy or positive. You'll find a lot of people are just struggling, and we can talk about the cost of living crisis. Like, everyone's got something going on at the moment, so it weighs them down. And when they're out in public, they are thinking about things like that, because it's like, can I afford what I've gone to buy, or should I be spending this money at this event, and things like that. So everyone's kind of putting out this kind of energy, and as an empath, you're just naturally prone to be that little vacuum cleaner and suck it up without realizing what you're doing.
Honestly, yeah. And I think, because I'm not, lately, I've not been super social anyway. So I think it was my sort of, when you're like a bit of a homebody for a while, and you kind of get used to your own space and the safety of your environment, then all of a sudden you're thrown into an environment with like 10,000 people and screaming carnies and rides and lights and noise. And I think my little empath just could not handle it. I was like, what are you doing? Like, baby steps, prepare me for this. But it was a nice like reminder to go, okay, there's more sort of energy protection, and yeah, just obviously work that obviously needs to be done. Like, you think you've done the work, or you think, oh yeah, I'm naturally protected, which you are. But sometimes if you haven't, it's like exercise. If you haven't sort of exercised for a while, and then you kind of go into like a marathon, you're going to struggle. That's just my little TED talk.
Yeah. Yeah, and definitely, if you haven't been in such a large environment, as you said, like, you kind of, that the protection's there, but sometimes you just need to level it up a little bit.
Yeah. Do you know who your guides are?
I've got a few. I don't know if you can see. If I move this way, I don't know if I can. I might have to pull.
Oh, there's like a picture there behind you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you
can see.
Is that someone
you know? Yeah, I can see her.
No, it's not anybody that I knew personally. I had it done by a lovely lady called Marie Clements in Adelaide. And as soon as I got the picture, it just resonated with me so much. It was like somebody that I'd connected with before.
So when you say you got that done, talk me through that process? Did you ask questions, or did she just randomly give you a picture?
She randomly gave me a picture with a reading as well, and just I was impatient, so I'm like, I want this now. And my dad actually bought it for me for Christmas one year. So we actually, sometimes she'll do it face to face, but not this time. But she's amazing at what she does. She can draw past loved ones without seeing a picture. And when you compare somebody's picture to her drawing, it's pretty identical. So, but yeah, it just connected and it just resonated so much with me. But I believe, we have different guides at different times of our lives. Not all guides stay for the whole duration.
Oh, interesting. I haven't heard that one
Yeah,
before.
I believe some come into, if we were teaching, we might have a guide that comes in with a background in teaching and helps support us through that teaching journey.
Oh,
I
and
feel
then
like,
they've done their part of that job, and they're going to move on to
yeah.
yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
And then others, we have lifelong guides with us all the time. So, I've got a few different pictures of guides around me that I've had done.
I love that you've got the pictures. Like that's quite special to have something visual to look at.
Yes, I really like the visual. If I can see it, then it helps me connect in a bit more, I feel like. It's that scientific evidence kind of thing.
Do you have a science background? You've mentioned science a few times.
No, I don't. I don't have any background at all, but it's that mind that's it.
It is. It's we all strive for that logic, that scientific logic, don't we? But I think like if anyone can sort of who's watched tonight can take away, I think if it doesn't make sense, which is hard. I mean, how do you as a human kind of if it doesn't make sense go, well, it's not meant to. Like I know that's not easy to do, like because as a human you're still like, no, but it has to make sense though.
Yeah, it's just a fine line sometimes of why do you need it to make sense? Why can't you just believe in it? Why can't you just trust it?
That's a really good way of putting it. Like why like just surrender, just like go to what it is and like let it be.
Or at least attempt to.
Yeah, well, exactly.
I feel like I'm saying all these things and I can hear like some of my guides laughing like, you don't do that all the time.
I don't, but mine too. Mine are laughing going, are you serious? I've got an Aquarian rising. I don't know if you know about rising and moons. So my rising's Aquarian and my moon's Gemini. So I'm screwed because I'm full of air and I'm a Virgo. So imagine what that's like in my head. My guides work overtime. And they're just like, and I do because I flip-flop emotionally because of my Gemini. I've got my Virgo sun that's trying to be, logical and organized and structured. And I've got my kind of Aquarian that's kind of Aquarian. I love Aquarians, but I know I've got a lot of them in my life and I know how they work. And they're all fighting with each other. And my guys are just like, we're not getting paid enough to manage this person. Like, but it's true. I have learned to let go a little bit, and I'm using the word surrender. It's my new word of the week. I've been saying it a lot lately, and
that's nicer than letting it go. I feel like just surrendering to what's meant to be is going to be, and what you can and can't change, or what you can and can't do. Like again, it comes back to that trust and just believing.
And how did you find like? Talk me through like building that trust for yourself and trusting in what you do. Did you find that came quickly, or are you still kind of working on that?
It came incredibly quickly. They surprised me because prior to that, I was so anxious. I was always second guessing, is this even the right thing to cook for tea, or how does this thing work? I'm just questioning everything and overthinking everything and things like that. It just helped me so much. As an introvert coming out of my shell too has been something else that came from it as well. But I say to people, I'm just a completely different person, in just the way that I'm like, I'm sure I'll have my normal panic attacks when things go wrong, or having a bit of bad luck, and it's like, oh, when's the next thing going to happen? And it's like, bugger, you've just manifested that to happen for yourself.
I know, and that's what's scary, because I do it as well, and I think, like, especially around money, it's always never enough, and then and it's like, if you see it as that, or without meaning to, because you're obviously not doing it on purpose, but it's scary if you're not careful in your choice of words and your energy. You accidentally manifest things, and it's like, oh, I didn't mean that. I take that back.
Yes.
You're like, yeah, I understand. It's like, I've been there.
Absolutely.
I'm there.
Yes. I do weekly readings on my Facebook page. I use my little kaleidoscope, and I don't even know how to describe how the process happens, but I'll get an image, and then I'll just sit and the messages come through for that. And this week, one of the messages was something about wires and cables, and I just thought it was electronics or digital, like your phone, etc. Well, guess whose car's broken down in their driveway, probably because of a loose wire.
Oh no. At least you saw it coming.
Well, yes, I did, but I didn't realize it was for me, the message. But that happens from time to time. I'll be doing messages weekly, and I'll look back and I'm like, I think I just wrote my own message for the week.
Yeah, I think and you're not to know, are you? Like, I'm the same. Like, I'll sometimes get random messages and think, oh, that's probably for, like, I might have a client booked in like a day or two, or maybe even that day, and I'll get a random message, think, oh yeah, that's probably a pre message for that person. And then you go and look back later and go, oh no, actually. But you're not going to know. We don't know. Like, people ask, oh, why can't you read for yourself? I go, if I could. Actually, I don't know if I actually would want to be honest, because I wouldn't want to know too much.
Yes, we're only going to get what we need to know in the moment too. Like, we're not in control of what's going to come through. Like, we might ask a question, doesn't mean we're going to get the answer to it. It doesn't kind of work like that. So it is difficult to read for yourself in that manner. So I think that's why sometimes they'll just slide in a little bit of guidance, and then when you look back, you're like, oh yeah, that was for me. Not that you're able to prepare for it or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. Before we wrap up, because we're almost done, what bit of advice or bit of just wisdom or anything that you just want to share with everyone who's watching that just comes naturally for you?
I just want to say, if you feel like you're interested in doing this and talking about this, it's just connecting to past loved ones, connecting to other people's past loved ones, getting information or predictions for yourself, which we just talked about, doesn't always work on your timeline, but it is possible. If you feel like it's something that you're interested, definitely reach out to, and I feel like many of the team at Psychic TV are happy to have chats, or they're offering courses or spiritual development information, because you might find that it just, once you kind of explore, it'll just all open up so easily and make so much sense.
And I think too, as you said, like, that's really great advice. But adding on from that, as you've said as well, it's the trust.
Yes.
Finding a way to trust that.
And as I said, like, it changed me in the way that I just trust now that things happen for that reason. And even if it is something not positive, like my car's broken down in the driveway, I trust that maybe it's prevented me from a big accident, or
that's really, I just got goosebumps when you said that.
Yeah. There was actually a big accident yesterday, and the helicopter landed 2 houses down on the oval. So that could have been me.
Spirit helping you. Yeah, that's actually, and that's actually a really good point, because we do, it is easy to look at the negative and the frustration of it first. Yeah, you're human, you need to. But once you kind of get over the anger and the frustration period, it's sort of good to sort of sit back and go, you know what? Maybe I was being protected. Maybe I was being, as you said, stopped from being in an accident or something. And it's finding peace in that but being able to remind yourself of that.
Yeah. And I feel like, it's okay to be a bit, angry and frustrated because it's happened. But, if it's not something you can fix or change, then just pick yourself up and keep going and move forward instead of dwelling on the why did that happen or and things like that. But yeah, as I said, I have so much less anxiety about worrying about things that haven't happened yet or things that I can't control now than what I did in the past. So
I love that. I think that's such a great way to leave this show on is that it's just perfectly said.
thank you, Michael.
No, thank you, and thank you for jumping on. I do appreciate it, and it's been great just to dig a little bit deeper into who you are and getting to know you a little bit better. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your night, and we'll probably see you around. And yeah, again, thank you so much for tonight.
No worries. See you later.
See ya. And thank you to everyone that has jumped on tonight and watched. I do really feel like there was some great advice given. I do love the fact that when you kind of, I suppose, understand your situations a little bit better, and kind of turn that negative into a positive, which can be hard. We're human. I get that. So don't be too hard on yourself as well. Take that pressure off. But understand that if your car breaks down or if you miss a train or you whatever, like those kind of scenarios, yeah, okay, your first instinct is going to be like, oh, great, I'm going to be late or this or that. But if you can practice catching yourself in that moment and go, you know what? I was meant to miss that train. My car was meant to break down. This was meant to happen because I wasn't meant to be there at that time or go whatever that situation might be. Like, if you can see it as being a form of protection, I think you can get a lot of peace around that as well and lessen a lot of the anxiety and stress in your life. So something to definitely take away from it and think about. Of course, if you can go to psychictvinternational.com or psychicaustralia.com, both work well. We have currently online Benjamin on pin 9166, Blessed Beth, who's currently watching in the thread. Hi, Beth, on 9150, Judith Sky on 9125, Nellie Norm Baker on 9810, and Psychic Sadie on pin 9147. If you would like a psychic reading or some generalized advice, definitely go over and do that. I just got word from production that I will now be hosting this Saturday. Harry is not able to host due to circumstances that have happened recently. He's going to take a night off for just a bit of a break. So you'll see me. I'm not sure who the guest psychic is unless production quickly wants to let me know. So I will be on this Saturday hosting Saturday night. So you get to see this pretty face one more time this week. So you'll see me this Saturday night hosting Psychic TV. So definitely jump on for the fun there for psychic readings. We'll do many readings on that tonight with the guest psychic. Anna, good to see you in the thread. Beth, you're still there. Robin, didn't get to say hello to everyone. I was kind of just caught up in the conversation, really. Anna was teaching your nephew how to drive. Is that you're busy teaching my nephew to drive? So you're going to go back and watch the start. Some really sort of great advice. So Judith Sky is the psychic. Thank you, production. Thank you to Anne-Marie, the beautiful Anne-Marie. So Judith Sky will be the guest this Saturday night. So I will be guest hosting with Judith Sky as the guest psychic this Saturday. Kelly, I love your enthusiasm in the thread. Andrew, it's weird that so many are waking up now. That's someone said from 2020, another dawning of Aquarius. Yeah, definitely. Love to Harry T. So I'm just reading all your comments now because I've got some time to kill, but I'm going to wrap up anyway. But good to see you jump on, Chloe. I see you there. Thank you for your message as well. So just want to acknowledge I do see your messages. Thank you to Michelle for your comments there. Chantal as well. We don't do psychic readings, but definitely come back. Jen, good to see you there as well, but definitely come back on Saturday for some psychic readings. Jocelyn's just jumped on and said hi. I'm now jumping off, so I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you to everyone that has watched. Thank you to everyone that has just joined on the thread. I am back next week with a surprise guest. So you can catch me again next Thursday, but you can also catch me this Saturday for Psychic TV with Judith Sky as my guest. Yeah, enjoy your night. Be kind. Remember to trust. I think we say that every week. So I need to find like an ending, like a sign off kind of message. I'll find it eventually. But thank you to everyone, and I will see you. Well, I'll see you this Saturday, as well as next week. So same time. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your week.